Warning, the player selections you're about to see may flop miserably. FPL TV cannot be held responsible for any of your own transfer shockers. Please, FPL responsibly.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League Point Predictor, the series where I pick 5 players that I think will return points in the upcoming FPL game week. Usually for the Point Predictor, my selections must get a target of 4 points or more to be correct, but with game week 37 being a jumbo-sized double game week, where teams play more than once, to make things interesting in this episode I must hit a target of 8 points or more for each player. As always, before I start with my predictions for game week 37, let's take a very quick look back at last week's predictions, where things didn't quite go to plan. So following an excellent 4 out of 5 correct picks in game week 35, I followed that up with an abysmal 1 correct prediction for game week 36. Mohamed Salah squandered a glorious chance to continue his incredible goal-scoring form and delivered a rare blank for us FPL managers. And Jesse Lingard failed to build on his 2 goals against Arsenal earlier in the season. Thankfully, in the final game of the week, Harry Kane somewhat returned to form and spared my blushes ever so slightly by picking up 6 points against Watford. So a poor game week for the Point Predictor, but let's not dwell on that. Instead, let's move on now to game week 37 and try to make amends. For my defensive pick for game week 37, Swansea assets were certainly a strong consideration, especially centre-back Alfie Mawson. But seeing as I had such a dreadful set of predictions last week, I'm going to go down the more expensive route and select the reliable Cesar Azpilicueta. I've been avoiding Chelsea assets for the last few weeks, but with a double game week consisting of back-to-back home games now, I'm thinking Azpilicueta could be a good asset to own for game week 37. His home game against Liverpool first is of course going to be difficult, with Liverpool often being free scoring and top scorer Salah could always run rampant. But to be fair, even the 2 points from Azpilicueta here may not be too bad, because I'm benchmarking Chelsea's home fixture against Huddersfield as the likely clean sheet for them. Chelsea have one of the league's strongest home defensive records, and Huddersfield have only scored 11 goals on the road in 17 attempts, so you'd have to fancy the clean sheet here. For the budget midfielder, under the price of 8 million, my money is on Marko Arnautovic to bring home some points in the double game week. To succeed in FPL, it's important at this stage of the season to think about what teams still have something to play for in the remaining fixtures. And with West Ham being just 3 points clear of the drop, they'll be desperate to pick up some wins before the season ends. West Ham's double game week isn't the strongest, but with his first opponents Leicester just coming off the back of a 5-0 defeat, perhaps this game is a perfect opportunity for Arnie to get some points. Leicester are sitting comfortably in mid-table, so they're one of the teams you'd look at who are perhaps lacking much incentive in this game, and their defensive record is pretty poor, with just 2 clean sheets kept in their last 11 games. For the any-priced midfielder, I've selected Raheem Sterling. The Man City midfielder has been in scintillating form and returned to FPL points in 7 consecutive appearances now. In the most 3 recent game weeks, he's hit double figures on each occasion, so is really hauling in the points at the moment. With the title already wrapped up, you'd have thought Man City had less incentive for these remaining games, but they've shown no signs of slowing down, putting 5 goals past Swansea and then 4 against West Ham as they look to break records this season. They now have 2 mouth-watering home fixtures in this double game week, where they'll face Huddersfield and then Brighton, so Sterling is surely set to be very sought after this game week. Of course, there is that chance of rotation, but Sterling has shown that 1 game could be more than enough to bring home some points. With that said, there's every chance he'll feature in both games, so let's just keep our fingers crossed, and either way, he's unavoidable this game week. For the budget striker, I'm taking a punt on Marcus Rashford. It's a bit of a risky choice, due to Rashford being starved of minutes for United lately, and I certainly wouldn't have selected him if it weren't for his teammate Lukaku picking up an ankle injury in their previous game. Of course, we don't know the extent of the injury yet, but it could see Rashford start in game week 37 and perhaps even play through the middle in place of Lukaku. Players such as Martial could also come in too, so it's not guaranteed that Rashford will start, but regardless, he's bound to get increased minutes over the 2 game weeks should Lukaku be ruled out, and I think he could be an excellent differential if you're looking to play catch-up in your mini-leagues. And lastly, my any-priced forward goes to Harry Kane, who is surely a banker for game week 37. On another day, I could have easily switched my Tottenham and Man City players around here and had Christian Eriksen as the premium midfielder and Gabriel Jesus as my striker. But for game week 37, Raheem and Harry Kane just edge it for me. Harry Kane still wasn't at his best at home to Watford, but that didn't stop him from delivering the one goal, which will now hopefully ignite a flurry of goals for the striker to end the season. In his post-match interview, he said that he's feeling sharp and targeting 30 goals for the season. That means he needs 3 more, and he's clearly hungry to end the season strongly, much like he did last year. His away trip to West Brom first certainly won't be as easy as it looks on paper, with them going through a purple patch currently. But notably, West Brom haven't kept a clean sheet at home since game week 23, which will surely please Harry Kane owners. If he does fail to find the target though, well, he has another decent fixture to follow at home to Newcastle, and with potentially half of their squad already thinking about the beach this summer, I believe that Kane will almost certainly come through for us this game week. And that wraps up my point predictor picks for game week 37. After a bit of a stinker last week, I've included some big names here, so hopefully they can restore a bit of pride for me. As always, if you enjoyed this episode and have been enjoying the Point Predictor series, then please be sure to show your support by dropping a like and getting subscribed to the channel. Best of luck to you all for the vital double game week 37, and I'll catch you all next week.